What if I told you that the three warning signs flashing in America today are identical to those that preceded Rome's catastrophic currency collapse in 274 AD? Most people don't realize that every great empire in history has fallen the same way. Not through military defeat, but through the systematic destruction of their money. The shocking truth is that 96% of all currencies that have ever existed are now worthless, and the average lifespan of a fiat currency is just 27 years. Right now, the US dollar is exhibiting the exact same three symptoms that killed the Roman denarius: the Spanish real and the British pound's global dominance. These aren't abstract economic theories. They're predictable patterns that have destroyed the wealth of entire civilizations. In the next 7 minutes, I'll reveal the three unmistakable signs that your currency is entering its death spiral, show you exactly how Rome's mighty empire crumbled from within through monetary madness, and give you the specific steps you need to take before history repeats itself. Because when a currency collapses, it doesn't just hurt the government, it annihilates the life savings of everyone who didn't see it coming. Let me transport you to Rome in 235 AD, when the empire stood at the pinnacle of human civilization. Emperor Severus Alexander ruled over 65 million people across 3 continents, commanding legions that had never known defeat, and a treasury overflowing with silver denarii, coins so pure and trusted that merchants from Britain to Egypt accepted them without question. Each denarius contained 83% pure silver, stamped with the emperor's face and backed by the full faith of history's greatest empire. But beneath this golden facade, cracks were already forming. The empire had grown too vast to govern efficiently, requiring 150,000 professional soldiers stationed across 5,000 miles of frontier, a military machine that consumed 75% of the imperial budget. When Alexander was assassinated by his own troops, Rome plunged into the crisis of the 3rd century, a 50-year nightmare of civil war that saw 26 emperors rise and fall, most meeting violent deaths. Picture the scene. Desperate emperors like Gallienus facing rebellions on multiple fronts, standing in the imperial mint as workers melted down the sacred silver denarii. The furnaces roared day and night as pure silver was mixed with cheaper copper and tin, creating coins that looked identical, but contained only 5% silver. Citizens initially celebrated. There were more coins in circulation. Trade seemed to flourish, and the government could fund massive public works projects. But the empire's military commitments remained unchanged. The bureaucracy continued to expand, and the bills kept mounting. Each new emperor faced the same impossible choice: raise crushing taxes or debase the currency further. By 270 AD, the monetary apocalypse was complete. What had once been 83% pure silver coins now contained less than 5% precious metal, a 94% debasement that made Roman currency nearly worthless. But here's the terrifying part. It happened so gradually that most citizens didn't realize they were being robbed until it was too late. Marcus Aurelius Corvus, a grain merchant in Alexandria, watched in horror as bread prices exploded from 2 denarii per loaf to 50 denarii, then 200, then 1,000. His life savings of 10,000 denarii, enough to buy a villa just 5 years earlier, couldn't purchase a single month's food. The empire's trade networks collapsed as foreign merchants refused the debased coins. Germanic tribes rejected Roman tribute payments, launching devastating raids across the Rhine. In a desperate attempt to restore confidence, Emperor Aurelian tried to recall the debased currency and issue new pure coins, but it was too late. Hyperinflation ravaged the provinces as people hoarded anything of real value: olive oil, wine, grain, while worthless coins piled up like garbage in the streets. The social contract shattered as soldiers mutinied over worthless pay. Tax collectors were murdered by desperate citizens, and entire regions broke away from imperial control. The proud denarius, once the backbone of global commerce for 500 years, became a symbol of imperial betrayal. By 274 AD, the Roman economy had reverted to barter. with people trading chickens for shoes and wheat for pottery, just like primitive tribes. The mighty empire that had conquered the known world was brought to its knees not by barbarian armies, but by the destruction of its own money. Fast forward 1,050 years, and America is displaying the exact same 3 warning signs that killed Rome. First, massive military overstretch. The U.S. maintains 750 military bases in 80 countries, spending $816 billion annually on defense while running a $1.7 trillion deficit. Just like Rome's 150,000 legions, America's global commitments have become financially unsustainable. Second, currency debasement. Since 1971, when Nixon severed the dollar's link to gold, the Federal Reserve has increased the money supply by 3,000%. Today's dollar contains 0 precious metals. It's pure fiat currency backed only by government promises, exactly like Rome's final debased denarii. The Fed's balance sheet exploded from $900 billion in 2008 to $9 trillion today, a 900% increase that would make Emperor Gallienus proud. Third, loss of international confidence. China and Russia are actively building alternative payment systems to bypass the dollar, while countries like Saudi Arabia now accept yuan for oil payments. The BRICS nations represent 40% of global GDP and are creating their own reserve currency, just as Germanic tribes rejected Roman coins. Recent bank failures like Silicon Valley Bank and Credit Suisse mirror the regional breakdowns that preceded Rome's collapse. When Jerome Powell prints another $1 trillion to fund government spending, he's following the exact playbook that destroyed the Denarius. The signs are unmistakable: military overspending, currency debasement, and declining international acceptance. Rome ignored these warnings and lost an empire. What will America lose? Here's how you protect yourself from currency collapse using lessons learned from Rome's downfall. First, own real assets that survived Rome's monetary apocalypse: precious metals, productive land, and businesses that generate essential goods. Gold and silver held their purchasing power through Rome's crisis while denarii became worthless. Own at least 10–20% of your wealth in physical precious metals stored outside the banking system. Second, diversify internationally before capital controls arrive. Rome's wealthy citizens who moved assets to Constantinople survived. Those who trusted imperial promises lost everything. Open foreign bank accounts, invest in international real estate, and hold currencies from fiscally responsible nations like Switzerland or Singapore. Third, develop recession-proof skills and build local networks. When Rome's currency collapsed, people with practical abilities, blacksmiths, farmers, healers, thrived while bureaucrats and financiers starved. Learn skills that provide value regardless of monetary systems. Grow food, repair things, heal people, or provide security. Build relationships with like-minded people in your community who understand what's coming. The Romans who survived did so by preparing before the crisis, not during it. Position yourself now while there's still time to act. Every great empire believes its currency will last forever, right up until it doesn't. History doesn't repeat, but if you don't understand it, it will crush you all the same. Subscribe now, because next week I'm revealing the 3 specific assets that not only survived Rome's collapse, but made their owners incredibly wealthy during the recovery.